Today is the 22nd of March, 2015. 22nd of March, 2015.
Yes.
And we're at Beit Palmach in Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
And we're with נחman.
נחman, Gולדווסר.
Gulvasen. So נחman, before we start, we're going to start the interview. I want to ask you if you can tell me about your background, where you come from.
Yes.
And the kind of house that you were brought up in, your parents.
Yeah. I come from Poland, Ostrów Mazowiecki. I know I have a family here from the Guldowassers living in Israel. Mm-hmm. And this is also my father's children. They all passed away already, so I don't know.
When were you born? When were you born?
I beg your pardon?
What is the date of your birth?
My birth?
Yeah, when?
1921.
What month?
February.
February.
Shvat.
Shvat. February what? February what?
February, but Shvat.
What number of February?
This is only February because when I came to the United States, I didn't know. I knew that I was born in Shvat. 2 Shvat. That's it.
Okay. Tell me about the town that you were born in.
Ostrów Mazowiecki.
Tell me about it.
Was a town, very good people. Some of them came to Israel with a very infamous Shomer Tza'ir. They occupied in Israel. One of them was Bronak, which I know them, Shomer Tza'ir, Austria, and who else? One lived in Rosenthal, lived in Petach Tikva. He's probably also passed away. One already from Israel, from Poland, which I know, Bronak. He was secretary, I don't know what year he was secretary in Israel, finance minister.
Okay.
You heard about it?
Yes, I have heard about it, but I want you to focus with me and to tell me about the town that you were born in. I want you to stay.
Ostrów Mazowiecki.
I want you to stay there.
Yeah, I know. They come out from Ostrów Mazowiecki.
What kind of city was it? Was it a big city? Was it a big city? Was it a small city?
It was a city, you know. And very talented people went in that time to Israel, and I was a young kid.
Was it east of Warsaw? Where was it located in Poland?
Located near Warsaw.
East, west, north?
Going to Warsaw, you know. You know, I was very young, you know.
Yes.
You know, when I escaped from the Germans, I was 12 years old.
How old were you?
12 years old.
12 years old. So if you were born in 1921...
Yeah, maybe I was older than that, I don't remember.
Okay. Tell me about your home. Your house, your parents, your mother, your father?
My father passed away very young. He smoked cigarettes, and I didn't know until when I would get older that he died on cancer from the lungs. That's it. And this I know because I was only 12 years old. We had a very nice business.
What kind of business?
Makolet.
Nice.
Yeah. And you call it in Polish spożyczki. Spożyczki? I don't know. I don't even speak Polish anymore. And my father was very good business.
Would you say that you came from a middle class family?
What?
Middle class, upper middle class?
Upper middle class. My mother was from the higher class.
Really?
Yeah, my mother used to be. My father married her because my mother was the parents were very rich.
Your mother's parents?
Yeah, he was a yeshiva bocher in Vilna.
Your father?
My father, yeah.
What was your father's name?
Herschel. This is Howard.
Howard. So
Yeah, Herschel.
Herschel.
Herschel, yeah.
Herschel. And your mother's name?
Leah.
Leah. So Leah came from a very upper class family.
Yeah, my mother came to America, you know, and I could have gone to America. I did not go. She went to America, and I told her to go to, and I go to Israel. And this was a separation for me.
We're going to get to that, but I want to go chronologically. I want to go very, very slow. We want to go very slow. I still want to talk about your background and your family. Are you the oldest of your siblings?
No.
Okay. Tell me.
It was Tina. She was later on in 1936. She immigrated to United States. My sister came to United States. My older sister came to United States, and the children were born in Israel, in Nadar Yosef.
Nadar Yosef.
Yeah. And what else?
What other brothers and sisters? How many kids were in your family? How many children did your parents have?
In my family?
Yes.
Well, it was a lot of parents in the ghetto.
I understand, but if you can tell me before the Second World War.
I lost a brother in the ghetto, and a sister, Rachel, in the ghetto. We all in the family were Zionists. We used to go in a school in the Hebrew, Bet Sefer Tarbut.
Bet Sefer?
Bet Sefer Tarbut.
Tarbut. Cultural.
A very good school.
Tell me, in the city that you grew up in,
yes,
was there a very strong Zionistic movement?
Yes, my father was a Zionist.
What part of the Zionist map did he belong to?
My father was from Mizrahi because he actually graduated from Vilna in the Yeshiva.
Yeah.
And he had Smirat Rabbanut in that time.
Okay.
But when he married my mother comes from a rich family. He was the cook. This is the cook. And that's it.
So he belonged to Mizrahi.
Mizrahi.
Yeah. Mizrahi. Did you go to a youth movement as a child?
Yes.
Tell me about that. Tell me about that.
I was in Shomer Tzayir. I know that from my leaders was Shomer Tzayir that came to Israel. One of them lived in Austria. One of them I know he lived in what's the name of the Petah Tikva? Yeah. Tal. His name was Tal in Hebrew. When I came, I saw him because I remember him very much so when I was young. He used to play a lot of, like an actor. He used to play about Zionism and everything. I remember as a kid.
Tell me about, did your brothers and sisters also belong to Shomer HaTzayir?
No, my sister, one of them, Shomer Alomi.
Okay.
And I was a Shomer HaTzayir. Rachel was also Shomer Alomi.
That was for girls.
And my brother was very young, my young brother. My own brother was old. He was joining Palmach, he just passed away in the United States.
Tell me, in the town that you grew up in,
yeah,
did you ever experience, before the Germans came, did you ever experience any anti-Semitism?
Oh yes. When I used to go to school, I remember a friend of mine was killed going to school with a rock hitting me in the head. Schultz, his name was Schultz. And he was killed going to school and he died. This is what I remember. He was a kid.
How old? 10?
He was maybe 10 years old, 12 years old, something like that. I don't remember.
But you remember?
Yeah, Lesh. His name was Lesh. A wonderful time. I remember him. He was such a nice kid. He sang very nice. Lesh. He belonged to Shomer Alomi, I know that. And we used to sing, Me'al Piskat Haratzopim, Shalom Lach Yerushalayim. What's the rest of it? I forgot already. I remember him. This is what he sang. He was a very good singer. They all perished. And I just don't forget. I know them when I was young. We used to play soccer together.
Did you have any interaction with the Polish kids? Or you guys
no,
were segregated?
boy. I had to fight him back.
Did you fight?
Yes. I used to do when I was a kid. I remember we used to have the house, and I bought myself boxing.
You bought gloves?
Yes. You know, and learn how to box myself, by myself. And I remember one thing when I was a kid, when I walked by the street, the Polish came over, he was on the semi, and he came over to me and he wanted to hit me. I hit him back, knocked him out.
Really?
We were young, yeah, this is what I remember, that's it. I knocked him out, whatever. He fell to the ground, and that's it. I remember, it was in the winter time.
So, on one hand, the town that you grew up in,
A Zionist movement.
was Beitar there also? Beitar.
Beitar?
Yeah. Jabotinsky's people.
My uncles were Beitar. Oh, I never believed in them because I don't believe in Beitar at all. Even in Israel, I don't believe in them.
That's fine. That's fine.
The bullets. My uncle was a Beitar. Oh, bullfighting. He perished in Poland by the Germans.
And after your father passed away,
Yeah.
after your father died, what happened with the family business?
Yeah,
What happened in the house?
We were exiled. We ran away from the Germans.
No, before the Germans.
Yes.
Yeah,
When we were in Poland.
yeah. Because in Poland, before the World War II, there were
1936. 1936.
your sister left.
Yeah, me, my mother, and my sister, and my brother, my sister. We ran away from the Germans in 1936.
39 probably. 39.
39.
39. The war started in 39.
39.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
you're right.
No, but it's okay, don't worry. But before we get to the war, I just want to kind of do a little summary of how your identity as a Zionist, as an individual, was developed in your community
Yes.
and in your home.
Yeah, in my home,
home.
I was already ran away. I came to Bialystok from the Germans.
Before the Germans, before the yeah, I'm talking now before the war, before the Germans.
Well,
we're gonna get to the war very soon,
Yeah.
but I want to take you and bring you to before the war broke out, and I want to try and understand what kind of your background and your education. And
my education, I used to go in Bet Sefer Toldos in Hebrew. I almost graduated Talmud because I was very young, and this is the whole story about it.
Okay. Hold on. Let this gentleman pass.
It's someone from Bet Sefer Toldos.
Yeah.
Are you hearing everything okay, Dad?
What?
Do you want your hearing aid?
He's a commander guy from
Good.
Colombia.
Good.
Graduate Colombia.
So tell me, in Poland, before the war,
Yeah.
there were very harsh anti-Semitic rules.
Yes. It was.
Very harsh.
A boycott.
There was a boycott of
Yeah, we used to have a business in that time. And I remember as a kid, they used to say in that time, the Polish people, we call them some narodowcy. They used to say by our store, and not let people go into the store because it's a Jewish store. We had a store at that time. And this is what I know about it. And that's it. And I was only 12 years old.
When the Second World War breaks out,
Yes.
you're 18 years old. You're 18. You're 18 years old when the Second World War breaks out.
I was 18? No, I was 16.
21,
16.
39. That's 18, no? Yeah.
18?
18, yeah, roughly 16, 18. Something like
29?
that. 1939. September
Oh boy,
1939.
maybe you know better than I.
1939. Do you remember the first few days of the war that the Germans attacked Poland? Do you remember this?
That, yeah. I took it at that time when I was a kid. I took the French occupied, but it was the German occupied. This is what I know, that's it. And I ran out, and then I realized that it's not the French, the Germans. And that's it. Because at that time was a time when they occupied Czechoslovakia, and then came to Poland.
Yeah.
And that's it.
They came to Czechoslovakia first, and then Austria,
Yeah.
and then Poland. That's correct.
Yeah.
Do you remember also a few events that maybe happened before the war, like such as Kristallnacht? Kristallnacht.
What?
The Kristallnacht, the night of the broken glass in Germany.
Yeah.
In 1938, the Germans burnt all these synagogues.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
First of all, I remember that we had a business. We had to live the business at that time. We had a McCullough.
Yeah.
And we left everything. And I remember those pull-ups came in later on, took it over. And we packed, we only took the pillows, the clothes, and we ran away on the Russian side.
Really?
Yeah. And when we came on the Russian side, we were a few times left, and then the Russians did not like us. So they sent us away to Siberia. And this is what I remember.
But the family. And
My sister, my brother.
Your sister, your brother.
My brother, my sister, and me.
And was your mother with you?
My mother, me also with me, yeah.
Okay. And then you have another sister.
Yeah, and then I have another
in America?
sister.
In America?
Yeah, and then I had another sister in that time. They visited the family in Bialystok. Visited before they started. Shlomo was the brother, the other one, was in that time, and they perished in Germany. That's it, but the Germans, they killed them in the ghetto.
Did you? I read a little bit about your story, and it's written there that you left a brother and a sister at a farm.
Yeah, I had
Is that
that.
true? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, they were visiting the family in that time. My sister and my brother, so my family in Bialystok. And at that time, the Russian exiled me to Siberia. That's it, what I know.
In September, you run away to the Russian side.
Yeah.
With your brother and your
Bialystok.
sister and your mother.
Left
Bialystok.
by the uncles.
Yes.
Uncles, they left her because over there they stood, they had a good time. And I didn't want to stay in that little town, so I went to Bialystok.
Which was controlled by the Soviets.
Hmm?
Which was controlled by the Soviets at the time, by the Russians.
By the Russians.
It was controlled by the Russians.
Yes.
But the Russians they sent you away to Siberia.
Siberia, yes.
To a work, was it a work,
Yeah, because,
was it a
because
work camp?
they wanted me to be a Russian, you know. I don't know what happened at that time. So in the middle of the night, they take me out, and my whole family, my mother, my sister, and my brother, we took us to Arkhangelsk, Siberia. We were over there 2 years.
Where in Siberia, do you remember?
What?
Where in Siberia, do you remember?
Arkhangelsk.
Was it a work camp?
The White Sea.
Was it a work camp?
Hmm?
Was it a work camp? Was it a labor camp?
It's a labor camp.
A labor camp. What kind of labor did you do there?
We used to put down trees.
Cut trees.
Trees. I used to cut trees, you know, like that, when I was a young kid. And I used to live on that, they used to call it the Pashol. You know, they used to have police over there, where they used to watch us.
Really?
Yeah. They used to go with us to work. In the winter time, I was all winter. But thanks to Roosevelt in I don't remember what year, Roosevelt at that time started to release all those Polish people.
Uh-huh.
And I was one of the people. But I was released with that Siberia.
How long were you in Siberia for? How long?
16 years old, 17 years old, I don't know.
How many years were you there? 2 years, 3 years?
What?
How long were you working in the labor camp for?
In the labor camp I was working, I don't remember, it was something more than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I don't remember, because Roosevelt in that time made a pact
With Stalin?
with the Russians.
Yes.
And let the prisoners go out. And I was from those prisoners.
You were from those prisoners.
So
And
Roosevelt in that time, they let us out. So we were very free. So we went wherever we wanted to go.
Can you tell me about the conditions that you lived under in the Russian labor camp? The conditions.
Terrible. Terrible. We used to get very little food. And kasha, something like that. A little bread, you know. And the rest, you know, me and my brother, we used to be very smart. We were very young. The Russians thought maybe we are going to be communists. So they always used to say that we come from a family of rich people. But we're not from the rich people. We from people that thought maybe they're going to convert me to communism.
So you use that as a tool to survive.
Yeah.
You could potentially become
Yeah, they liked me very much, the Russians.
Did they? Yeah, they liked you?
Yeah, they liked
So
me.
you played a game with them. They played a game.
Those Russians, they checked me all the time. They used to always say, you're going to marry a Russian shiksa. You know, I was very young. This I remember, that's it. You not, because I was very young. And they didn't call me, I was a capitalist. They called me, because I was young, they called me, all right, you know, you are walking people. My father was not a walking people. I said, okay, that's it.
So the labor camp was very harsh.
Yes. It was 9 months was winter, dark. Only 3 months was
Light.
light.
Yeah, in Siberia.
In the winter you could see, when you watched in the skies, you could see in the winter time, in the sky you could see over there is light, you know, here is dark. Very, very hard, 60 below zero.
When you are released from this labor camp,
Thanks to Roosevelt.
where do you go? Where are you?
They told me to go wherever I want to go. Go on my own.
Go.
So we used to jump on those trains. We came back to Poland. This was actually the pact what Roosevelt made with United States made with Stalin.
Yes.
This is what I know.
Do you remember what year? What year you are released from the Soviet labor camp?
Soviet labor camp in 1942, I think so.
Okay. So
I was released, and then I went to Asia, Kyrgyzstan.
Okay. So you didn't go to Poland. You went to Asia.
Yeah.
You went to Asia.
Yeah. This is very close to the Chinese border.
Why did you go there?
Why I did go there?
Yeah.
Just as you know why I know. I remember you asked me that. You're right. You know, actually, you know, I was actually in Caucasia.
Tashkent.
No, not Tashkent. In the Caucasian mountains.
Okay.
With the Russian advance, the German advance, they were very close.
Yeah.
We escaped.
So you went east. You went east.
That's right.
Not west.
I went to Baku.
Baku. Okay.
That's right.
Baku. Okay.
Yeah, from Baku I went to, I remember the border of the Caspian Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came to.
So you were in the area of Kazakhstan,
Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan.
Yes.
And you're with your brother and your sister.
My mother my sister.
So you're all still together?
Yes.
You all managed to survive the Russian labor camp together?
Yes. Because we used
What
to...
are you doing when you're in Baku? When you're in Baku, after the...
In Baku, we ran away from the Germans.
Yes. But what are you doing to survive, to have food, to work? What are you doing?
I used to steal, remember, I used to go steal food, honestly. That's it.
Legitimate?
Because I didn't have nothing. I used to go, I was very young, and I used to go, they used to stay on those things on what do you call it? By the train. They used to stay by the train when we moved. And I used to, while the train stopped, and those people used to sell something, I used to grab it, to the train and then eat. I was like a gunner.
Depends which way you look at it.
What?
It depends which way you look at it.
Yes.
You're a gun to survive.
To
You're not a
survive.
gun to be rich,
Yes.
to be...
I used to go up in the train when I was going to escape. We didn't have anything, nobody gave us anything. So when the train stopped and the people used to sell that food, I used to go down, grab it, right away, that's it. And I used to give the family in that time.
Yeah. And what can you tell me about Baku?
Baku.
Yeah, what can you... Did you find the Jewish community there?
No. I was living in a park.
In a park?
In a park, on the street. We escaped. And then we chose to go the other side. We took the Caspian Sea. You know the Caspian Sea? All right, and then we came to Kyrgyzstan. Because the Germans were very close. So we came to Kyrgyzstan, and then we stayed over there for years, and then Roosevelt gave us, with Stalin made a mind up,
Yes.
and he let us go, get out, go wherever you want to go. Go to Poland, we went to Poland.
Tell me, נחman. When the war is over,
Yeah.
where are you when you hear that the war is done?
The war was over. When the war was over, the only thing is, when we were free,
Where were you geographically?
geographically,
Where were you when
I was traveling at the time after the war from Kyrgyzstan. I was traveling, going back to my old country. When I came to my old country, Poland, I saw the devastation. So we moved away, we came to Germany.
Okay, wait a minute. So when the war was over, you were still in the Far East.
But
You were in the Far East
Yeah.
when the war was over.
Yeah.
When the war, then you're all still together.
Yes.
Your mother, your brother, and your sister.
Sister,
The
yeah.
four of you.
Yeah.
Right? The four
Yeah.
of you?
Hova, Joseph, my mother, my grandmother passed away in Kyrgyzstan
Okay.
because she was very old,
Yeah.
very old.
But you managed to stay together.
Yes,
It's very special.
because we were very strong together all the time. I kept them all the time. I was very courageous.
Can you tell me about things that you did? Can you tell me about things that you did?
What?
Can you tell me about things that you did in this time to survive?
To survive?
You told me about stealing food.
Food, yeah.
Yeah. Anything else that you had to do to keep your family together?
Yes.
Can you tell me?
Yeah, this was when we traveled back to my old country. We didn't have anything, nobody gave us anything. So every time there was a stop on the train, I used to go out, grab it, because they used to sell it. I used to bring it up to my mother and my father, me and my brother, and we used to give it to kids, to my mother. This is what I remember. I was a gunner to survive. I was in Israel, I was also a survivor.
We're going to get to Israel very soon. We're going to get to Israel. So when the war is over, you go back to Poland.
Poland, yeah. Oh, when I came to Poland.
Tell me about what you see
In Poland?
when you get back to Poland. Do you go back to your to your town?
Yeah.
Do you go back to your home?
Yes. Oh no, I did. Well, I didn't have a home.
No home?
It was no home. I didn't have a home. So I went to Germany. I should go to Germany. Germany was, we knew was the joint. That's it. In Germany. So I was in Kassel.
Kassel, in the middle of Germany. I know where Kassel
Yes,
is.
Kassel.
Right in the middle.
In the joint.
There was a DP.
Jewish people, the joint.
There was a DP camp in Kassel, yeah?
Yeah.
A DP camp? A camp for displaced people after the war.
Yeah.
Refugees.
Oh, it was a beautiful city here in Kassel. Kassel was a beautiful city. And we had a camp over there. Gotko was near, Gotko was near a place where they used to make tanks, the Germans, under the mountains. This is what I remember, that's it.
What happened in Germany? You're probably with a lot of other refugees from the war,
Well, yes,
survivors from the Holocaust.
Yeah, from the Holocaust.
Tell me about your impression. Because the whole time that you're in Russia, when you're in Russia, you don't know about the
Yeah, I just
what's
went
happening.
away. We always wanted to go more west. You know, Poland, and then we went to Germany. In Germany, we found out we had Jewish people from the army at that time. American army was Jewish people from the joint. And this I remember. They used to come to us. And military men, Jewish people. And then we create a joint, and we get the joint, and that time provide us with food from America. And that's it. In Germany.
And this is
And from Germany,
How long were you in Germany for?
I was in Germany, I don't remember how long, but I remember Germany, my, what do you call it? My mission was in Germany not to stay, because I didn't want to stay there. So I have to go to Israel. And my mother, I used to say to her, so what I did, we were split with my mother. We were split with my mother before I was in Germany.
Split?
Split, in other words.
You split.
Because I became, later on, already, how do you call it, a Zionist. I remember that, a Zionist. From Shomer Tzair. And I always wanted to go somewhere, but I was too young, they didn't let me go to that time, and that's it. I remember that. This was in Vilna. A lot of people used to escape and go to Israel in that time, from Vilna.
Did you meet people in Germany from the Haganah?
No.
No?
The Haganah, I met the people in Germany from the Haganah. I met people from the Haganah, this is when I went to Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did meet people from the Haganah in Germany.
Yeah,
Said to you.
I remember Tzvi, his name was Tzvi. He was the one, but he taught us everything. When I was in Germany, I remember they pulled me out. And they told me, you're going to Israel, yes? You want to go? I said, yes, sure. And this is what I did, I went to Israel. So I went to France, I remember.
To Marseille?
And from France, we took a ship, Capitolia, I remember at that time. I came with my brother only. And my mother was at that time already going to America. And I went to that time to this. And this is what happened.
I remember, and I think if it's correct, that you arrived in Israel in
1948.
early 1948.
Yes.
Is that correct? Early 1948?
I remember one thing, it was Mana Matzor.
Matzor,
The
Jerusalem.
English was still the blockade.
So it was before the Declaration of Independence, and it was after the UN Declaration of 1947.
Yeah, 1947.
1947.
I was not in Israel.
November 29th, 1947. The United Nations partitions Palestine to an Arab part and a Jewish part. You're still in Europe when this happens.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? The United Nations?
Yeah, I
listening on the radio?
1947, I remember. 1947 was at that time, was a journey at that time, which we decided that the Israelis at that time worked with us. We go very young, they wanted us to go to Israel, and I decided to go to Israel.
And you had to walk through the Alps.
Yes.
Did you do that walk through the Alps from Germany to Marseille?
To Marseille.
To Marseille.
Marseille and the other port, I don't remember. The other port, I departed to Israel.
In Italy or in France?
In France.
Nice?
No. I forgot the other port.
Okay. It's okay.
Antibes after Marseille.
I can't remember. But the whole time that you're with...
No, my family at that time was not.
No, not your family. What I want to know is when you're going from Germany to France, it's taking a year or two. It takes a while to get ready and to get...
Yeah, because my mother was at that time in Germany in 1945.
Yes.
And I told my mother that you're going to your brothers and your sisters that live in America, United States, and I go to Israel, and this is what the story is. I know it.
Israel, from Hashomer Tzair, I need to go to Palestine. At the time, it was still Palestine. It wasn't Israel. It wasn't Israel. I wanted to ask you, do you remember, I want you to think, do you remember sitting near a radio and listening to the United Nations partition Palestine? Do you remember this?
The partition, I used to, I didn't know about anything because we didn't listen, we didn't have no radios. I was on the cheap Capitolian. We were going around. We couldn't go into that time to Israel at that time. We were wandering around.
How many people were on your boat?
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
And was your boat caught by the British or no? Was your boat caught by the British?
Yeah, I caught by the British.
You were caught by the British?
In the time when the blockade.
They caught you?
Yeah.
And what did they do?
What they do? They didn't do anything. What they do, I remember that we jumped on the ship with the Israelis. Palyan picked us up.
Palyan.
Yeah, and we came to Hadera. And I remember the English was looking for us because they knew we escaped. They divided because I was in Hadera at that time. And from over there, I became already and then I joined the Palm, and that's it.
So when you get off the boat, you're smuggled into here.
Yes.
Was it at night?
At night.
At night. With the Palyan.
Yeah.
And they took you to Hadera.
I beg your pardon?
They took you to Hadera. To Hadera. They took you to Hadera.
They didn't take me to Hadera. Palyan picked me up from the water, because there was an Israeli with us in that time. 3 his name was. And we followed him. We sent that through the water. And I remember Palyan picked us up. And then I remember that they took us in Hadera. They took us in something in that place. They hired us. And the British was looking for us.
Really?
Yes. This is what I remember. That's it.
And you're with your brother. You're with your brother. Your brother.
With my brother, that's right.
You're together.
Yeah.
How?
My brother passed away when we were very young.
If I ask you a question, I'm going to ask you a question right now, and I want you to think.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
When you get to the beach in Israel, when you get to the beach at night and you're taken to Hadera, you know that you're where you want to be. How do you feel?
What do you mean? I was very scared in the beginning. I remember that. I'm very scared. But I knew I was in a good hands with a guy. His name was Tzvi, Israeli. Tzvi. And he is the one with the Litvi, the rest of them not. And then after me, that ship, the next ship, when they came to Israel, they went to Cyprus. This is what I remember.
So you were lucky.
I was the lucky one.
But you didn't go to
I was
Cyprus.
the lucky one. And this is what I did. I joined the Palm at that time.
Tell me, did you join the Palmach immediately?
When I was in Hadera,
Yeah.
I was trained over there, jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Yes. Yeah,
Do you remember?
was a Israeli over there.
Huh?
I was trained jiu-jitsu. I remember I was in the sand in that time. In this very sand in Hadera, in those years, in 1948. And we used to fight with the Israelis. And we used to fight in the sand, boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went like this and like that. Kick with your foot.
Yeah.
This was I remember that.
So you did a lot of physical training with the Palmach.
Physical training,
And
yes.
did you learn how to shoot?
Fighting. I used to fight with my brother.
To shoot a
Nothing.
gun, throw grenades.
No,
just physical.
nothing else. No,
Just training.
just training. Jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. No.
Yes.
Wow.
Because we didn't have anything. I didn't have anything until I joined the Palmach.
Do you join the Palmach immediately when you get here?
When I joined the Palmach was when I came to this. They sent me right away something because when I told them I'm from Shomar Tzayir, they told me they sent me right away to Palmach. This is what I remember that. I find out I was in Palmach, by accident, and that's it. I didn't know that.
Do you know that at this time there's the war is in the middle of the war has already started?
I beg your pardon?
The war of independence has
Right.
already started when you come.
The war of independence was
Yeah.
not. It's not started.
It started after
No.
November
The war
47.
started exactly when I came to United States, to Israel. I was in Israel, Hadera, and then I was in Palmach,
Yeah.
already. And then we call it Milchemet Atzmaut, Ptichat Haderech Lanegeb, if you remember that.
Yes, of course.
I-
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So when you go to the Palmach, do you have to put your hand on the Bible and swear?
No.
Did you do it?
Yeah,
No.
I remember when I went to Palmach in that time, in Israel, they took me into, what do you call it name? And this is near you, Masada.
Masada.
Yeah.
In the desert.
And I swore it in.
You what?
I was sworn it in Masada.
Masada. Can you
In the
tell
show me, I remember that those people, they were killed in the time from the
Romans.
Romans,
Yeah.
I remember that I saw Masada myself. In that time, I swore it in.
Allegiance to the Palmach.
Allegiance to
Yeah.
Palmach.
Was your brother with you?
Yes.
Yes. You okay?
But I was very young at that time. My first experience was Ptichat Haderech Lanegeb. We had participated. I remember at that time, on Yom Kippur, I was exactly from Palmach.
Have some water. Have some water.
I remember at that time when I was in Palmach already, Yom Kippur, we crossed the line Fallujah. Yeah. We walked through in that time. This was Tichat Derech LaNegev. In that time was a Israeli with us, when he took us in. We were in Palmach. I don't remember the leaders in that time. I cannot tell you that. But I know one thing, when I later on, when I became a Palmachnik, I knew about Yigal Alon.
Yigal Alon.
Yigal Alon was my father in Israeli army, in Palmach. I liked him. He liked us because we were newcomers. Believe it or not, he used to invite us, Yigal Alon, to what do you call it, in Darom, Machane Darom. He used to invite us, our group, the seven.
Okay, before you tell me about this, in the Palmach, you're in Chativat HaNegev?
Chativat HaNegev.
Chativat HaNegev. Who's the commander of Chativat HaNegev?
My, in that time?
The commander of the whole Chativah.
You know, it was a guy, I didn't know the guys, I'll be honest with you.
No, I know, but I'm just...
I did not know the guys. I remember in that time, when I was in that time, I knew a guy behind me. This was on Yom Kippur, Tichat Derech LaNegev. Was a guy with me in the back, by Fallujah, where we, Tichat Derech LaNegev, was like, I don't know. I didn't speak to him, but I only talked to him on one thing. When we stood, but Tichat Derech LaNegev, I was very smart. Our tank, we had a combat, an Englishman was at that time with us. The combat broke down, it didn't move, and Yom Kippur. He broke down. He was an Englishman, married to a Sabra in Israel. She was a Temanit. And he brought that combat with him together, and that combat, in that time, 1948, instead of good, the combat was not going. So we stuck, we couldn't go. And believe it or not, in 1948 was Pluga Aleph and Pluga Bet.
Which Pluga were you in? Okay.
I was from Pluga Aleph.
Pluga Aleph.
Yeah, Pluga Aleph. Pluga Bet suffered. They were all killed from the Egyptians.
You're Fallujah.
Fallujah, yeah. You know, that corridor was planned on the left side. I remember that time was Irak el-Manshia, something?
What's that?
Irak el-Manshia.
Irak el-Manshia. Yeah.
Irak el-Manshia. Yeah, I think so. It was a school over there. A school, I remember the school. We went in, and then we didn't go fight with the Egyptians at that time, because we just tried to get into the Negev. The Negev was a little bit this, and this, we went right to Beersheba, and that's it.
Was the Battle of Fallujah your first battle that
Yes.
you were in?
Yes, but this was in Yom Kippur. I was in that fight.
I'm just trying to think.
Fallujah.
I'm just trying
In
to
that time, Nasser, I remember Nasser.
No, not Nasser.
Not what?
Nasser, he was a general in the army.
No, he was not. Yeah, but he was not. He was a sergeant in that time, in my time. He was a sergeant. He was from the artillery in Fallujah. This is when I know about him. Because you know why? Because we used to see him Bizman al-Fugal. While we were near Beersheba, when he used to cross it, he used to have the section go talk with the Israelis. You know, give him food or something like that. You know, because they were surrounded. They could not go here. And this is what I know about it. They could not go. You remember that?
Yes, I've read about it.
Yes, they were surrounded in that time because they could not go somewhere else. And we just got in. So they used to come back from Fallujah. They used to come to Beersheba later on. I was not there, I don't know. But I know they had talked to each other and changed something. I don't know what. This is it. And I was in that time already in Beersheba.
Were you with the Palmach
Yes.
when they conquered Beersheba, or you came after?
No, I came. I wasn't there. I was in Beersheba as a virtue when I came.
You were
Nothing there. I can tell you that. When I came to Beersheba, I remember the town was empty. Kids running around like crazy. We used to kill them because we didn't like it. They didn't let us sleep at night.
the cats.
We used to sleep in their houses. They ran away from that. And what I remember mostly of that. So we used to go all the time at night. We couldn't sleep. The cats. You couldn't sleep. We used to take it and kill them. So we could sleep at night because we sleep in their houses.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
But did you come to Beersheba after it was conquered, or did you fight for the conquer of Beersheba?
Conquer Beersheba.
You were there.
Yeah, I was
For
there.
the battle.
I told you that I was there when Beersheba was a virgin. Nothing there. Camels running around. Cats running around. Empty town. Only one street was, I remember, one street. I remember in Beersheba. This is what I remember then. And I was there a long time. And Yigal Alon in that time was with us together.
He was with you, Yigal Alon?
Yes, we
Yeah.
were there in that time.
And you speak very highly of him.
Hmm?
You speak very highly of him, of Yigal
Oh
Alon.
yes, I want to tell you, he was to me like a father. You know, I'm not going to tell a lot of things about him, what he did for us.
What did he do?
Dirty things,
What kind of things?
sexually.
Like what?
He used to make, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to talk about it.
It's okay, it's okay.
Yigal Alon was such a nice guy. He liked us, we liked him, that's what he did. He used to bring prostitutes in Tel Aviv.
Really?
For us.
Kosher ones or non-kosher?
Prostitutes.
Kosher prostitutes or non-kosher?
I don't know. I don't know. I know there used to be prostitutes in Tel Aviv. They used to come to bring us. You know, I remember we used to
He
play
used to bring them to Beersheba?
in Beersheba. So the
Is
brother
it
at night,
in Beersheba?
I used to play that time along with the kids. Sasha was on one, a Russian one over that time.
What kids?
Sasha,
You used to play with what kids?
Rami,
Cards?
cards.
But,
You know,
but when you say kids, what kids are you talking about? Your soldiers and
The
your
soldiers.
Okay, so your comrades.
Yes.
Okay, so you're playing cards with
cards
Sasha.
during that time, yeah.
Okay.
And the Nazi Germany came out. The sergeant came out and said, "You guys, you need something." Many brothers from Tel Aviv, from that time, I remember the brothers. And we were playing cards in that time. We ran like crazy in that time. All those brothers from Tel Aviv, the brothers to us.
They bring them on a truck,
I don't know.
on a plane.
I don't know. They were from Tel Aviv. I know one thing when we came in, they said, "Guys, let's go."
So did everybody like stand in line?
Yeah, we were running like crazy at that time. He was a nice guy.
So he took care of his soldiers.
Hmm?
He took care of his soldiers.
Oh, yes, absolutely. He was you know, we established what?
Parties.
Private. He only invited us, only our brigade.
Only? Your
Only
brigade.
our brigade to his Machaneh Adaron. And he used to make a party, invite sabbats, we should dance with them.
I want to ask you a question. In the Palmach, there is rumors
Yes.
that the Sabra Palmachniks got treated better than the Palmachniks who just came from Europe? Was there any discrimination
No.
in the Palmach?
No. But we were the heroes in Palmach because no Israelis was at that time. We only fight was the Israelis was from the ghetto, partisans, some French, you know, I remember from French Legion, Jew, something. That's it.
But what I'm asking is if the not Yigal alone, but other commanders of the Palmach, they were more sympathetic to the Sabras in the Palmach, opposed to the people that came from Europe.
I don't know. This I don't know. I know one thing. Our regiment, our group from Palmach, from the 7th Brigade, all was newcomers. Russians, Jews, some of them French from the ghetto, Warsaw ghetto, and from Vilna, partisans.
Partisans from Vilna, yeah.
Yeah, not Israelis.
No, not Sabras.
Not a Sabra.
Not Sabra. Although Yigal alone was a Sabra.
What?
Yigal alone was a Sabra.
Yigal alone?
Yeah, from Kibbutz
And
Sabra.
in that time was a Samal, but he trained us in that time, was an Israeli, a Samal, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember
So what language did you guys speak?
We spoke Hebrew, we spoke Yiddish, we spoke
A lot of Yiddish?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I spoke Hebrew.
When you're playing cards with Sasha, are you speaking to him in Yiddish?
Russian, my team I used to speak Russian.
Russian, Yiddish, Polish.
Russian. In the other guys, we speak Yiddish, you know, used to speak.
You know, they say that the Palmach people had a very good camaraderie. That people in the Palmach were very close.
Yes,
That it was very social.
very social.
Very, except
We are well friends.
Yes.
Well
Very, very close people.
Yeah. I'm telling you that we used to play cards together. We used to stay in the rooms from the Arabs in that time.
Yes, in Beersheba.
In the shell.
The Arabs that fled, you lived in their
Yeah.
houses. Yes.
And that's it. I remember we used to do an exercise, those camels on the left, we used to run around with those camels on the street, the main street, camels, and that's it.
I read something that Howard, your son, wrote.
What?
Your son Howard,
Yeah.
he wrote something about you playing chess with Yitzhak Rabin.
Yeah, Yitzhak Rabin, not chess. Yitzhak Rabin was like that. Yitzhak Rabin I had that spoke. When we were in Be'er Yaakov,
Be'er Yaakov.
yeah, before Ptichat HaDerech LaNegev. And Yitzhak Rabin asked us if he saw something on my mind. And I said, yes, I got something on my mind. And then I said to him, you know, I would like to talk to you in private. This one I know. He called me up. He made in that time a siddur. Later on, when he took out my brother, I talked to him and I said, I want my mother to take it out from the Pura,
From the Pluga.
from the Pura. And he said, yes. And you go back. So at that time, the siddur, you remember siddur, what it was?
Like the lines?
For the lines, get over the other side.
Yeah.
So he called off all the people from the line. And he left over my brother. My brother left over there without his group. And he did not go fighting that time.
Why did you do that?
But I want to save his life. Because I know I was going on a fight.
And Yitzhak Rabin said to you, okay, I take him out?
Yeah, he took him out. He called him up from this. He didn't make them down at that time.
He's down.
Everybody went out on that side, and my brother left on that side alone. And we marched away, and he is there.
And this
He
was
did not go.
This was in Be'er Yaakov.
In Be'er Yaakov.
He did not go to the battle of
He did not go. No.
Was he mad at you, your brother?
What?
Was your brother upset with you for
Oh,
doing
yes.
this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was very embarrassed.
Yeah.
I know it.
But you were taking care of him.
What?
You were protecting him.
That's right. I protect him all the time.
Yeah,
Because even my younger brother, Yosef,
absolutely. And Yitzhak Rabin had no problem. He understood you.
yeah, I live with him very good. We lived all the time. All the time. All those years in sorrow, we lived. We rolled together. We fight together all the time. And then whenever it came up, we always were very courageous, and that's it. Because he passed away in the United States. When we came back together in 1957, he passed away.
We're gonna
But he used to live in Connecticut.
What else can you tell me about Yitzhak Rabin?
Yitzhak Rabin.
What can you tell me about him?
Yitzhak Rabin, I never considered him a person, myself.
Yeah.
Because when he came to, Yitzhak Rabin came to us in Ber Yaakov. He was, I would call it a virgin.
A virgin?
A virgin. He didn't know nothing. And he became, Yigalon made him for a big shot. This is what I know.
Yeah, it's true.
That's it. Because he was a Sabra. Because we did not speak Hebrew. He spoke Hebrew, so he is Yitzhak Rabin. But Yitzhak Rabin to me was not a hero. He was a flip-flopper.
A flip-flopper.
Yes. Even in my time, when I knew him in Ber Yaakov, I remember the short pants he went, a young kid. He didn't have nothing about the military. But Ben-Gurion, you get along race them. And that's it. What was going on later with Yigalon with Rabin, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know one thing, Yigalon was disappointed with him.
He was disappointed.
Yes, this I know. Because when he changed lanes in that time,
Yeah.
he went to the Haganah,
Yeah.
right?
No, he was in the Palmach. He stayed in
He
the
was the
Palmach.
Palmar, but later on he changed.
He went
he went
to Chativat Hael.
after Milchamet Atzmaut.
Well, he became
Yeah,
the IDF.
He
Yeah,
changed.
he stayed.
And that's
he stayed.
why we used to call him flip-flopper.
What does that mean, flip-flopper?
A flip-flopper is not him, nicht there.
Somebody-
Not here, not over there.
Somebody who's sitting on the fence?
Yeah, sitting on the fence.
Sitting on the fence.
Yeah.
Sitting on the fence. Okay. That's a flip-flopper?
Yeah.
Okay.
He changed right away. Yigalon was very sad. He wanted to make a career, but he didn't want to be in Palmach anymore. Yigalon, he actually made him for a person. He came to us in Ber Yaakov. Was a little guy. Nothing knew about him. Nobody knew about him. And so later on, he became, this is what I know about him. That's it. They didn't have good relationship later on after that. I know that.
Well, that was in the
Am I right? Am I right?
The political
I don't
life.
know, but I know that he
That's
never
from the
did.
political life.
He was very disappointed in him
Well-
because he made him a career in the army. So he made him the man.
Is there anybody else in the Palmach that you were associated with?
Yitzhak Sadeh.
Tell me about Yitzhak Sadeh.
Yitzhak Sadeh used to have Misibot. In Ber Yaakov, we used to have Tinjans. He called it Tinjans. He always used to say to us, אני מכיר לפניכם, ראשי לפניכם. This I remember. And this was in Hebrew. And I knew a little bit Hebrew. And he bumped my head to us. And he said that. He felt something. I don't know what he meant by that. In other words, he brought his head to us. אני מכיר להאשים myself at ראשיכם, something like that. I don't remember. Like he brought his head in that time. He says, in Amsterdam, was a Kumsitz in that time. You know?
Kumsitz.
Yeah. Yitzhak Sadeh.
Yitzhak Sadeh.
This is what I remember, that's it.
What about people like Chaim Bar-Lev?
Bar-Lev?
Chaim Bar-Lev.
Chaim Bar-Lev, I heard about it, but I never
Okay.
know about it.
And Mota Gur?
Hmm?
Mota Gur? Also in Chativat HaNegev?
Khatibat HaNegev?
Does that Chayot HaNegev?
I don't know anything
Yeah.
about it. I know nothing about anything.
Okay. I wanna-
Even the מפקד המחלקה, I don't know, because he disappeared when we captured Be'er Sheva. He disappeared in us. He was the קצין המחלקה, what do you call it in that time?
מפקד מחלקה.
Yeah, Mem. He disappeared in this guy, the guy. I don't know who he was.
After Be'er Sheva,
Yeah.
did you guys continue south? After Be'er Sheva?
After Be'er Sheva, it was still a long time, then we went. I think so, when I wounded, I was in Be'er Sheva.
You were wounded.
Yeah.
Tell me about your wound.
My wound was
Where did it happen?
when I was in 1948. When I was in 1948, I don't remember. When I remember one thing, I was my back and my foot.
Yeah.
And they brought me to Yafo in that time. And I asked the doctor, what's the matter with me? He told me I had a lot done. So in other words, the Egyptian shoot with something poison. And I had a lot done.
Blood poison.
In Yafo.
Blood poison.
This one, I remember one thing they used to give me every 3 hours, penicillin.
Penicillin.
For a long time. I don't remember.
Where were you wounded? Where?
Well,
Geographically.
but
But where? After in Be'er Sheva? After Be'er Sheva?
no, before Be'er Sheva.
Before Be'er Sheva?
Yes. Before Be'er Sheva.
Were you wounded
Because I did not go to Be'er Sheva. I came to Be'er Sheva later on when I was recuperated.
Okay.
I came to Be'er Sheva.
Okay.
Because I went through in that time when I was recuperated. I was in Yapa, in Telitvinsky,
yes.
and then I went
Is
south.
that where you were? That's where you were in the hospital. Where were you in the hospital? In Jaffa?
In Yapa first.
Jaffa.
Then
and
I was
Telitvinsky?
Telitvinsky, and then in
Salafen.
Salafen.
Yep. Now tell me, I'm going to ask you about a very important thing that happened in Israel.
Yeah.
Two very important occasions. Where were you when you heard Ben Gurion declare the state of Israel?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Okay. Another thing I'm going to ask you. Do you remember?
I was in the army that time.
Yeah, you were in the army, I know. Yeah. Do you remember?
I want to talk about Ben Gurion. When he used to come to us, we used to kick him around like that.
You used to what?
We in Ber Yaakov, we used to sit on the ground. He used to come visit us before the Purim. And when he came, we didn't like him. We used to kick him with the foot.
Really?
Yes.
How come you didn't like him?
We didn't like him because, I don't know, he was our fighting.
Mapainik?
Yes. This one I know. We didn't like him at all. I remember at that time he came, he was walking with shoes. And I could see his socks were tall in that time.
How would he react to that? How would he react to this?
He didn't say anything.
No.
Nothing.
How come you didn't like Mapai?
You know, later on, he came to Be'er Sheva. When we came to Be'er Sheva, I remember he was standing right in the opening from Be'er Sheva. He was standing. We did not talk to him at all. We didn't want to talk to him. And he was walking around just
because
like this.
Because he was from Mapai?
Huh?
Because he was Mapai?
Correct. Because we didn't like him. I don't know why.
But that was just the protocol. Palmach, Mapai. What about the Altalena?
Altalena.
Do you remember that?
I know Altalena very good.
Tell me.
I know those guys from Altalena. Where was I in Altalena at that time?
It was June.
I know the guys from Altalena because I met them later on. They didn't even fight in the Milchemet Ha'atzmaut. when they came from the Altelena. This is what I know. When I met them after Altelena, they came down. The sheep came down. I did not see the sheep. I did not see nothing, and I didn't hear nothing. Because I was in the army in that time.
But you heard about it.
I heard about it. But I heard about later on when I met those guys from Altelena, which I know I was with them from Germany when they came from Altelena.
So you knew the guys.
I knew the guys. And those guys was flip-floppers. They didn't want to fight.
They didn't want to fight?
They just want to fight. They didn't go in the army even. When they get out from the when I came back from this, I met them from the Altelena. Yehuda, I forgot their names.
But you knew them from the DP camps in Germany?
Yeah, I knew the guys. I also saw two guys from Altelena. But I was in that time in the army.
Did you have any connection with any people from the Etzel or the Lechi?
After that?
No.
I have connection when I was in Germany with them. They used to always say, they're going to fight, they're going to fight.
Really?
Yes. And when they came to the fight, they were in Altelena. And we were already there in the fight.
But it was a very sad episode, the Altalena. The Altalena story is very tragic.
Tragic?
Yeah, because the Jews were fighting with one another.
Oh, this I don't know. I don't know about it. I know one thing about it politically, that Altalena did something with the sheep, you know, they had weapons, I don't know what. That's it.
Okay. When the war is coming, when the Yom Ha'atzmaut war, when the Yom Ha'atzmaut war is coming to an end.
Yes.
Where are you?
I was in the army in Palmach.
Where?
I was in Beersheba.
Beersheba.
Yeah.
So when the war ends, you're in Beersheba.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. I remember when the war ended in Beersheba, Piruka Palmach.
Okay, tell me, were you at the Pihuk of the Palmach?
Yes.
Were you there?
Yes.
That was in...
I remember I was on Chofish. I was on Chofish in that time. They let me go on Chofish.
Okay.
When I came back, they told me it was Piruka Palmach. And they told me, I asked them, where are my weapons? And I said, we don't need weapons anymore. And that's it.
Was there a ceremony? Were you at the ceremony?
No.
No. Because there was a ceremony.
Yeah. Then they asked me, I remember that they asked me if I want to join the Tzava. And I said no. Like that.
So what did you do?
What they do. And I told them, you can kill me, I'm not going to go in, because they asked me, why don't you want to go into Tzava? I said, I don't want to go into Tzava. I did my job. I used to say to them, Akushi asad shelo, uyachal lechem. That's it.
If I know the Akushi asad shelo,
yeah, uyachal lechem.
It's a very interesting sentence. It means, you know what that means? Yeah? It means the black guy did his thing, now he can go.
Like the black people used to do in Germany.
Yeah. So, you stayed after the war, you stayed in Israel until 1950.
1957, yeah.
And you lived in Tel Aviv, is that
Tel
correct?
Aviv, yeah.
With your brother?
With my brother,
At Rehov Hebron.
Yeah, in 1957, I left Israel to my mother.
Did you, before you left Israel, you were here the first years Israel was a state?
Yeah.
You were here the first years, the first decade.
Yeah.
You were here.
Yeah.
It was a very tough time to be here.
Very tough.
Very tough time.
Yes, but my mother was the Saga.
Your mother?
My mother was a Saga. She was in America.
Yeah.
And I told them I want to go to America because if my mother is sick, they'll let me go.
You worked in a factory here?
I worked, where?
In Israel?
In Israel, yes.
Amco?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you lived with your brother?
With my brother.
And you didn't get married to any Sabra woman here while you were here? You didn't get married to any Sabra? Yeah, nothing,
because we were just, I don't know, we were lost souls in that time in Israel.
You were lost souls.
Yeah, we were lost souls. I don't remember that. We used to sing the song. Keda Hushi Lalechem. This was the song, I remember that. And this is it. And I was very sad. Many times, I'll be honest with you, I had in my mind to take a grenade and kill Miguel.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
Because he either made it the guy Pure Kabbalah.
He made the what?
He made the Pure Kabbalah in that time. He dismantled it.
And you think
And
that
it's-
you think that it shouldn't have been dismantled?
Yeah, and I did not go anywhere. I did not go to the Savannah.
Okay.
And I told them right away. I remember that time was a few generals. Why don't you want to go to Savannah? I said to them, you know, I don't want to walk my tail anymore.
But do you know that he dissolved the palmach?
Yeah.
He also dissolved the etzel. He also dissolved the lechi. Ben Gurion dissolved.
I didn't like him.
A lot of people didn't like him, and he's a very
Yeah, in
controversial
my
person.
time, I didn't like it. And I was ready at that time. If I would have a bomb, a grenade, I would have killed him.
Because he dismantled the
Yeah, because he
the
made
palmach.
it. He said, no more palmach.
And also he
that's why we used to sing the song. Kenya Hola Kushila Lechem. And he wanted me to be in the Tzavah, and I said, I'm not going to Tzavah anymore. And I said to him, you know what? You can kiss me. They didn't let me go.
Did a lot of people feel bitter like you, who were in the
A lot of
palmach?
people felt the same. A lot of people. I know a lot of people between. When I left Israel, a lot of people left in Palmach.
When you left in 1957, how did you feel? Did you feel that you said that you felt a lot like you were a lost soul?
No, I felt in that time nothing about anything. I did not say anything about Israel, anything. I did not say about the government. I only felt I want to see my mother. Yeah, this was the reason. Yeah. And they let me go because I remember at that time when they asked me why I'm going to America, when I gave away the Sherut Miluim, there was two girls over there standing and they said to me, what's the matter with you guys? We need you. Why are you going away? When I gave them the Miluim, they looked at the book and they saw who I am. And I says, I'm not going because I hate Israel. I'm going, I love my mother. And this is the last thing what they told me. And I told them that. And this was it, and I left. And I went, and I got the Miluim given away. Bingo, that's it. My whole career was ended, and I was already on the aeroplane, not on the ship. Wait a minute, an aeroplane? On the aeroplane.
On the airplane, yeah.
Yes. And I came to America in 1957. And then I married an American Jewish girl, a beautiful girl. She still lives in New York. And this is my two sons, what I gave. This is my second generation. Very good. In Israel, I couldn't afford them when I had them. He was at Columbian University. He was in New York University. In Israel, they thought I had married. And I have a very nice girl in Israel in that time.
Yeah?
Yes. From Romania.
From Romania?
Yes. And I left her.
Really?
Yes,
You broke her heart.
because I had to go to America and I couldn't take it.
You couldn't take her?
How can I take her? I was lucky that I go away. From Romania in that time, I remember that.
So
I remember that. And this is my brother told me that I had a girl that she loved me, that she wanted to get married with me, but I didn't want it, and she never talked about it. But she talked to my brother about it.
I want to ask you a question. When you and I were sitting here right now, you and I.
Yeah.
When you look back at the short period
Yeah.
that you were in the Palmach.
Yes.
It was a year and a half, maybe 2.
Yeah.
How did this affect who you are?
So I'm telling you right now, it affects me very much. I have sleepless night. My sons directed me yesterday in the negative. I didn't sleep a whole night last night. I did not sleep a whole night. I don't know what. It changed so quick. My head was spinning about the past. Terrible. I didn't sleep a whole night, and I said, I don't want to go anymore anywhere. And they forced me to come here. I didn't want to come at all. What am I going to talk about my past? I don't want to get paid. And I don't want to talk about it because I want to forget about it. And here comes me back like it's like my destiny always was going forward, not going backwards. And I didn't want to see it. I didn't sleep a whole night last night when I passed it in the negative. When I saw what do you call it? The guy took me to Israel. It took me that time. What was it? Beer Sludge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beer Sludge.
You remind me, I was very sad. I used to tell her, like, they want to take me to Eilat. I said, Eilat, I don't want to go because I don't want to see anymore because I don't want to go because I was not there at all.
Yeah.
And they didn't take me there. I was just.
Did you go to Masada?
Masada, I was in Masada when I was a soldier.
You swore
I did not go back at that time, only once.
Yeah.
I was in Masada. When I saw it, they explained me in that time about those people that were killed themselves.
Yes, of course.
And this is what I know.
Hakaraim.
What?
In Hebrew, they were called Hakaraim.
Ha.
Hakaraim. It was the sect.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember.
But anyways. So yesterday you had a very emotional day, going back to the negative.
Yes, I didn't sleep a whole night, honestly. I told myself.
Yeah.
I got very emotional from the negative. And I said to them, I would like to not anymore interviews because it's not that I want publicity. I don't want publicity. I'm a man. Like you say, I want to be aside. Forget about it. Because it's a lot of pain, misfortunes, disappointments, what I had. And then when I came to America, I just forgot already.
Cut it off.
Yeah, I was cut it off in America. And then I said to myself, I don't know why I came to America. I'm a broken man now. I was a happy man over there. I had a house myself, a wife. I have grandchildren over there, great-grandchildren. And my 2 sons, but they live one lives in Brooklyn, the other one lives near me, not far. He comes once in a while. He sits me there, and that's it. And this one comes also, he's very busy, but I love them both.
And I think they wanted to take you on a journey.
Yeah, they wanted to take me on a journey. But I want to tell something, I know they love me, but I'm hurt. And not because, because I hate Israel. I'm just hurt. My future was just a waste of time, what I did. I came to America.
You feel that the country betrayed you? Do you feel this?
Yes, I felt that. Yes.
You felt that?
Yeah, the country betrayed me.
I
I
feel a lot of people
yes.
feel that and felt that.
Yeah, that's why I used to tell you that. כן יכול הקושי ללכת, כי הקושי עשה את שלו. And this is it. I didn't like Ben Gurion. It was a time in Israel that I wanted to kill Ben Gurion, honestly. But I did not any weapons.
Of course.
If I would be in that time in the army, I would have killed him. He was a very lousy man. I want to tell something about him.
Please.
About Ben Gurion. And with that Prime Minister of Israel today, Ben-Gurion, they're both identical. What I think about it. Why? Ben-Gurion had a son. Do you know?
His son.
A son.
Yes.
He had Sarah Strong. He brought him back from England after the Milchemet Atzmaut. He brought him back to Israel. He made him Sarah Mishtara.
His son.
The son. He had an English wife. He was an Englishman more. He was in England. This is what I know about it. So, now I have with my son another dispute. What's his name? The Prime Minister of Israel today. Netanyahu. They say this is not the same Netanyahu. What I saw, and I saw Netanyahu myself in 1957, a gathering from Israelis. All those Israelis that didn't want to go to Israel at that time, Milchemet Atzmaut, the children, the parents sent them to America. They all came. There used to be a compound, an Israeli, and I used to come in there in 1957. I met them all. I met the Prime Minister today of Israel, and he said it's not there at the same time. And I know he's fabricated. He's a liar. I'm telling you that. He's a liar because a lot of things was done. That guy, his father, was a damn liar.
Netanyahu's father.
What?
The professor.
The professor.
Well, it's very,
He was a
very,
big
very
liar.
controversial.
His son, he kept him over there in the United States. He was going to high school. And my son says he did not go to high school, and I know he went. And I always have a dispute with him. You know why? Because I myself talked to this guy in 1957. And if he doesn't want to talk to me, this guy, I would tell him in his eye, you're a liar.
See, his name was Ben Zion Netanyahu.
Netanyahu.
Ben Zion.
I didn't know that what his name was. I knew a lot of guys from Israel. In 1957 there was a lot of guys from Israel, which I don't know him, but he came just me in my film. Netanyahu, because I always used to go with Israelis used to come. It was a special engagement in New York. All Israelis, all those good kids. They didn't want to go because their parents, they were very rich. They didn't want to go fight for independence. Something like that. I don't know, I didn't know, but I didn't argue with them, nothing, but I know this was the guys, the rich kids. Some from Jerusalem, some from Tel Aviv. זה סטוריה מים.
יש לך משהו שאתה רוצה לשאול לפני שאנחנו...
It argues with me, it's not Netanyahu, but it wasn't Netanyahu.
Well,
but I know his brother was killed in Israel, I know.
in Entebbe.
Yeah, he was, I don't know, he was a sergeant or he was an officer, I don't know
He's
what.
an officer.
He was killed something, going back something in the shadow, all right?
Entebbe.
It's something like that, I don't know. I was in America today.
I wanna end this interview.
Yes, please.
Listen.
I'm very glad.
Are you glad that you did the interview at the end? Are you okay?
I'm very happy about it. I speeded up this.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to talk about? Is there anything that we didn't mention? Is there anything significant?
No, I feel that.
Except for Ben-Gurion.
It's something, I want to say, talk is very cheap. And I talk, and something we feel like it's not the truth. It's not the truth. It is the truth. And that's what I feel about it, mentally. And that's it. כל טוב לך.
אני מאוד 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 מאוד
כן.
מודה לך.
כן.
מאוד.
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 I very appreciate it.
I'm glad you gave us
God
your time.
bless.
I'm glad you gave us your time.
But
I'm glad you gave us your
yeah,
time.
I didn't want to go.
Good, I'm glad that they pushed you.
Yeah, what?
I'm glad that your sons.
Yeah, my son, they push me all the time.
Good, good, good.
You know, I push them when they
And
were kids.
now they push you.
Now they're pushing me on.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, nothing.
I appreciate it. No, sit down for a sec.
Okay, great. We have it.
Thank you. Thank you
Oh,
both.
thank you very much.
I'll catch you guys in a sec.